This is Free Talk Live. It's your show, and you can take control of the airwaves toll-free at 800-259-9231. You can bring up whatever you want. Though, starting things out this hour, we've got a guest, as a matter of fact. Though it is Ian here with you.
And Mark.
You can join us on our website at freetalklive.com. All the features on the site are completely free, unlike those other talk show hosts on the radio that want to charge you for access to their sites. We do it for free because that's the way a good website should be. All right, so we're jumping right into the guest here. His name is Robert Menard, and he is from thinkfree.ca. Now, that's not .com, it's .ca. It's a Canadian website. So thinkfree.ca. Robert Menard, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello.
Hi, and I'd like to confirm Free Talk Live is not paying me anything. This is all free. They're cheap bastards.
Yeah, well, you know what? Guilty as charged. I am definitely a cheap bastard. But
well, I appreciate your invite, and I thank you for that, and it's good to be here.
It was actually one of my listeners that turned me on to your website, Robert, and they just posted a link to the video that's of you that you posted on Google Video, which I absorbed I think it was an hour and 20 minutes of it, and then proceeded to explore your website, and I really liked what I saw, and it ties into something that we've sort of talked about on Free Talk Live over the years, and I don't know, it's almost hard to figure out where to start with all this. Is it possible to maybe have you give us a little bit of background of what led you to creating this website or creating this organization?
Sure. You're good at your job, aren't you? You've done this before.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, a little background about me. I grew up in a large Catholic family. My parents were very loving, very, very principled, especially my dad, and my mom was one of the biggest scrappers I had ever met. I joined the military. I spent 4 years in the Army as an infantry soldier because I love my country, and I felt a certain need to stand. When I got out, I went to college, and I started studying systems and how to destroy them and make them. And then I did stand-up comedy for about 10 years because I was not suited for a factory job.
Right.
And then I was, I guess you want to know how I came to find the path I'm on. Is that what you're asking, really?
Yeah, absolutely, because then we have to talk about what that path is, but there's certainly a backstory here, and I think it's kind of important.
I had started a company. I was trying to market a product so I could make enough money to finance my own comedy show. I had just bought a new computer, and I was new to the Internet, and I was addicted to it, and I was chatting. There came a day I was chatting with this woman by the name of Lily White. She was in Arizona, and we were talking a lot about God. And one night she said to me, oh, my God, I just got the strongest sensation. You're going to be called to serve God. It's going to be the most difficult thing you've ever done. I said, why? Does he have dietary restrictions? She said, no, I'm serious. Just then I hear my neighbor coming down the stairs. My neighbor at the time, his name is Ben Cardinal. You can find him. He's an actor. If you search IMDb, you can find him. Mm. And he's about 6'3", 250 pounds at the time. And he had been drinking. And he told me that his spirit guide had told him to take me to the bar. I said, Ben, you're drunk. I'm not going to the bar with you. He shut off my computer, threw my jacket at me, and said, Rob, I'll knock you out and carry you if I have to. You're going to the bar with me for a beer.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
I know enough I had been in BC long enough. When a 6'3", 250-pound native guy tells you he's going to knock you out or buy you a beer, you're really much better off accepting the beer.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So we run to this bar. I got another call coming in. I'll let them hold. So we have to run down to this bar. Little seedy guy. And normally when I was going to the bar with him, we would saunter. He's an actor, and he says it's all about attitude, and we don't run anywhere. But this time, he's dragging me. We're running to this bar. Get in there. I just take the first sip of beer. We haven't been in there not even 2 minutes. I see this amazingly beautiful young woman walk by, and I just saw she was radiant. She was radiant with hope. And I thought I said these words. Ben tells me he never heard them, but my ears heard them like they issued right from my own mouth. She's pregnant and in very big trouble. And right at that point, I looked around, and I saw all these people looking at her like she was neat. And I felt really sad. And it was like a great big wet sponge, as big as the universe, just descended on me. And then something just reached right through it, and made it run away. It's kind of like if you take pepper and you put pepper on water and then put a little drop of soap in it, you see all the pepper just rush away from the soap. That's what it felt like.
Okay.
Some power grabbed all the love in my heart, and just right now, I'm speaking my words, your eardrums are vibrating, and you're getting a message. It grabbed the love in my heart, vibrated it, and gave me a message, and said, take her child as your own, you'll be forever blessed. I looked in my mind's eye, and I was wondering, what are you asking? Did you want me to take the child away from her, or what? And I saw in my mind my dad with my mother and me, and I realized that although I was his son, from his perspective, I was his wife's son, and I was being asked to take both and keep them together.
This is I'm a little bit confused at this point. This is actually a backstory I was not aware of. Dude,
there was some serious spirit happening that day, and you could verify. Just ask Ben Cardinal whether or not this happened. I mean, the guys, you can find him.
This was a woman that was just in the bar, and you felt called to, I guess, get together with her. Is that what
save her child? Essentially, was the call that I got. Make sure this child is born.
Okay.
And one of the things that was, because when I got this message kind of thing, and it weirded me out. I'm not, I don't go to church or anything like that, And when I got this, I was asking, well, I'm still a little bit unclear. What do you mean by as? And then I don't know, it comes across as a feeling that I wasn't being asked to take her for my own, but as my own. And I recognized that, and I said, what's the difference? And for made me think of forever, and as made me think of as long as necessary. So I realized right then when I said yes, and I saw this, and then I said okie dokie. And at that point, I walked over to her, and there was another guy, one of the wolves, one of the sharks in the bar. They were trying to come over to her, and I almost got in a fight with this guy over her. And if it wasn't for the 6'3", 250-pound native guy holding the pool cue, I probably would have got my ass kicked.
Okay.
But she ended up coming over to our table, and I told her right then, you're pregnant. Do you know you're pregnant? She said, no, I'm not pregnant. I just got my period. I'm not pregnant. I said, you're pregnant. She said, how do you know? I said, God told me. She said, I don't believe in God. I said, that's going to change when you find out you're pregnant. So she had no place to go, eh? She ended up coming home with me. She found out a week later that she was, in fact, pregnant, totally cleaned up her act. At the time, she was doing crack and fucking drinking, and she was in a hurting place. She totally cleaned up her act. We got Elizabeth born. 2 days after the birth, ministry workers come in, and because of her history, they claim that she's not a fit mom. Well, listen, we're a family here, and she is fit. She's cleaned up. And she said, wait, and the woman... So
you'd been with her for these the 9 months or the 10 months of the pregnancy, so you would know.
8.5 months, yeah, and I took her baby as my own. In my heart, she's not my blood, but, dude, love don't need blood.
Right.
And I had taken her as my own. I was standing at the time, I knew nothing about the law, but now the position is loco parentis, which means that you have made oath to take the child as your own.
So what did the ministry do? They came in and they said, she's not a fit mom. We're gonna take the kid.
Here's where they messed up. And bear in mind, I'm not angry at these people. I mean, it all unfolded rather well. They were very overworked, and because of this, they filed documents in court claiming that they had investigated, that they had found a single mom with this history. Then they come to the hospital after they filed the documents, and they say, oh, well, we found this out. I said, well, you're wrong. Your documents are wrong. And I was told by the ministry worker, well, we've already filed our documents. I find out later they committed a fraud on the court. If I had stood up in court and said, no, this is a family, there are, I'm the dad here, and the judge had looked at it, he would compare my words to the documents they had filed, and someone would be facing charges.
Okay, so wait, they ended up taking the baby, right?
Well, I put up such a fight. I found out throughout this process.
All right, hang on, Robert. We're going to bring it back. 800-259-9231 is the toll-free number. We'll get into what he discovered as he looked into the law, as he was in this conflict at this point with DCS, essentially.